Well, welcome aboard. It's time for the news review. Thank you for your company. It's 13 days to election 2020. Charlie, Gigi. 13 days to go. We're warming up.
Well, and the NCC says people should get out there and vote on voting day. So I'm rallying support for
we want it to be
NCC.
a massive turnout like it was in the United States. And finally, somebody is saying that transition, But interesting times. Well, thank you for joining us. Baravi, which papers do you have?
I've got the Daily Graphic newspaper, the Daily Dispatch, the Catalyst, the Daily Heritage, and the Daily Statesman newspaper.
Well, for my end, the Ghanaian Times, the Daily Guide, the Finder, and, the Palaver and the Ghanaian Publisher. So those are the papers I have. Maybe we should start with the Daily Graphic.
Yes, let's do that. Now, who released the data? Who released the data? Who put the data on Google Drive? Well, discussions on handling voters' data underway. It's a headline on the front page of the Daily Graphic newspaper. Also, who wins Northern Region is a question. NPP, NDC hold 9 seats each. Nana Kudedu still in presidential race, according to, they say theirs is not General Secretary, Secretary General Alhaji Frimpong, saying there yesterday that the news that Nana Kudedu yesterday was going to announce, or she had decided to get out of the race, is fake news.
You know, I interacted with our very own Parker Wilson, Parker Wilson, and he said, no, that's not what I'm getting from the NDP, but certain portals, prominent portals and other, papers even. I mean, if you recall yesterday, about 2 of the papers had actually captured that she was going to. But it turns out Parker Wilson was right. He had been interacting with the party's leadership, and indeed, that's not the way. But where did they get their information from, though?
Well,
I mean, they were so certain.
Well, remember that Benef Singh had been talking about.
But he had been cautious. He had said might.
Yes, he had been talking about why she could get out of the race. I don't know where that emphatic knowledge of she was going to pull out or she had pulled out came from. Well, but we wait to see. I mean, December 7th, but she's going to be on the ballot anyway. Yep. December 7th polls, go out and vote, and CCE rallies electorates. There's a picture of the chairperson, Miss Josephine Nkrumah, on the front page of the paper. Second insightful graphic quarterly review comes out on Thursday. Papers advertising that in the center spread, maintain leadership role during elections. GJA president charges graphic. Rawlins's death must unite us. That's a call from the General Overseer of Action Chapel International, Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams. He's expressed the hope that the passing of former President Jerry John Rawlins will unite rather than divide the nation. Be proactive in preventing conflicts. That's the Economic Community of West African States, urging member states to be proactive in preventing conflicts in the sub-region. On the back page, Plant Variety Protection Bill will disadvantage local farmers. CSOs urge President not to assent to writs. The entire story is on the back page of the paper.
Let's check out the Ghanaian Times this morning. Intense campaigning, and talk about intense, even in COVID times. I mean, they're hitting the streets and, going to all parts of the country as presidential candidates canvass for votes. Then CAF boss handed 5-year ban. That story actually on page 22. And I'm beginning to wonder what happens to, our football administrators. Of course, we have the infamous case of a certain Kwesi Nyantechi, number 12, but that's a side issue. I mean, the likes of Seb Blatter, Michelle Platini.
But we also had Issa Hayatu. We didn't see anything like this with Issa Hayatu.
Well, Hayatu, should I say his tentacles were rather,
no,
but there were issues. Hayatu had come into the fray a number of times. I mean, there had been a lot of
was there an outcome like this? That's the point that I'm trying to make.
That is what I don't necessarily recall. Maybe Oreko Ampofo might help us with that. But I'm just noticing that a lot of the time, football administrators at the highest levels, they seem to, get their comeuppance, and you're beginning to wonder, what is it? Because if you look at this story, I'll not delve into it extensively, but it talks about the fact that the Ethics Committee of FIFA found him guilty of offering and accepting gifts and other benefits and misappropriation of funds.
Yeah.
And I remember since last year there had been this issue that had...
So there's also, you know, those who put the... You know, have to put one or two together. This is Africa, eh?
One or two
I mean,
together.
even if it's global, yeah, you have to put one or two. They've got elections coming up in March, and some people say he's not necessarily somebody that the FIFA boss likes. So they're putting one or two together.
This is a way of...
Yeah, man.
I don't know, maybe...
But he's been closely watched, if you like, because they've been... I know at some point they said they wanted to improve the governance issues around CAF and all of that. So he was being closely monitored. And if he wasn't careful and, you know, this happened.
But if you know you're being closely monitored, what do you do? 5 disqualified presidential aspirants case, CID requests exhibits from EC, then Ada Traditional Council approves Songo Lagoon Electrochem deal. When you go to page 3, it says trial of alleged killers of Major Mahama resumes December 10. And for some of these issues, you ask yourself, when? Dabenda. I had to, you know, read this one because Hearts, yes, Hearts of Oak faces off with Ash Gold today. And I know some people are quivering in their boots, but we wish them the best. On the back page, Ghana records 5,033 fire outbreaks in 10 months. And that's an 8% rise over last year's figure. And this one, PWDs deplore lack of access to public buildings. Any prediction for the Hearts Ash Gold matchup? I foresee a trouncing for Hearts of Oak, but any predictions from you?
I would do that with my fellow phobians, not you.
Oh, look into the crystal ball and see something. Ayo. So that's it with the Ghanaian Times.
Let's do the Daily Dispatch. On the front page, you see this. Why Bawumia placed 4th in 2024 Flagbearer survey. It's all contained in this book by Benefsin, 2020 Elections, Who Wins, with analysis on who is the most popular person in NPP after Akufo-Addo, and all that you need to know about 2020 and 2016 elections. Okay. And then there's in the inside pages, EC on special voting. Pretty much that's what's in the Daily Dispatch newspaper, the major headlines.
The Daily Guide. NDC questions police election measures. SHS students mob Nana. Konedo's NDP slams NDC. Leave Rawlings alone. And with Akufo-Addo, you don't have to be rich to go to school. That is Freddie Wasimeu Blay. And there's also Veep commissions Nurses College in Bandai. Those stories in the Daily Guide.
Let's do the Daily Heritage. On the front page of the Daily Heritage, on the Japa deal, political scientist Lord's MDC's advocacy. Lawyers, prosecution clash over Volta rebels in courts. Police officers must wear name tags on voting day. NDC to IGP. Ada chiefs expect employment boom as Songo Salt project takes off. That's it for the Daily Heritage. What's on the front page of the paper this morning?
Well, the Finder says EC denies disenfranchising security personnel on special voting list. That's another matter that has come up with regard to the Electoral Commission. There's also 1.4 billion Ghana cedi bailout package for 92,460 customers. 2,220 clients paid 257 million Ghana cedis and more. Excellent WASI results shamed free SHS critics, naysayers. That's Akufo-Addo saying that. Something I wouldn't want to get into this morning. Policy rate drops 11%, lending rates down 6.6% between 2017 and 2020. That's according to the Bank of Ghana. And then Dr. Bawumia commissions Tolong District Hospital. But one of those stories that has caught my attention. Page 5, NMC urges media to be sincere and factual. That's coming from the chairman of the National Media Commission, Yaobwedu Ayeboafo. And he is urging journalists in Ghana to be sincere and factual about their reportage during the December election. So there is no conflict and misrepresentation.
All right, let's do the Catalysts. Front page. Did I just do that? Okay, yeah. The Catalysts newspaper. Your Sakawa won't work this time. JM to Akufo-Addo. Government 20 million Ghana cedis unpaid debts collapsing small towns' water systems, according to the paper. Stand your ground, the Free Yankra charges NDC folk against the rules. Desperate Akufo-Addo takes campaign to senior high schools. Corruption under Akufo-Addo is not just fighting back, it is easily winning the war. And that's attributed to Professor Kweku Professor Kweku Asari, if you like. That's it for the catalyst. What's on the front page?
Azza. The way you say the Azza, you know, I had a friend back in school. It was called Frank Azza. I would all call him Azza. Just to, rile him up. The Ghanaian publisher, Akufo-Addo jabs free SHS naysayers. Excellent WASSCE results have shamed you. NPP women hold Thanksgiving service tomorrow. Ada, grateful to government. It has to do with the Songo Lagoon story. And then Monetary Committee keeps policy rate at 14.5%. But you need to break it down to find out what exactly that means for you. Lending rate and all of that. But how does that affect, what happens when you go to the bank for, any such facility? You should be concerned about that. That's it with the publisher newspaper.
Let me do my last
publisher.
Newspaper. All right, the last newspaper for me is the Daily Statesman. On the front page, you'd see this. 2020 WASSCE results. Shame, and shame is in quotes, free SHS critics. Akufo-Addo says NPP has got the plan for Ghana's development. More jobs expected at Ada from Songo Salt projects. Climate change fights. Low temperature thermal decomposition system unveiled. And leave my late husband alone. Grieving Mrs. Rawlings descends on Mahama and the NDC. All right, that's it. The paper that I've just been reviewing for you, the Daily Statesman. Then?
My final one will be the new palaver. It's stopping the annual ritual of market fires, and that has become our reality. Very recently, we saw that one in Odona. AU urges Ghana to ensure violence-free elections. And, of course, this also captured their belated happy birthday to Professor Nana Jane Opoku Ajiman. Now, December 7 polls defeat staring NPP in the face, interfering with former special prosecutor's work. How the NPP ran to the special prosecutor with fake petitions against Mahama. And then Kennedy Japan has no honor or integrity, Martin Amidou. Palava, no honor or integrity. And how NPP ran, that should have been an RAN. Anyway, so those are the stories in there. Shall we dig in?
Yes, we shall. And I've just opened to page 20, the Daily Graphic newspaper. And the story really is discussions on handling voters' data underway. And I got interested because the Director General of the DPA, that's the Data Protection Agency, has been talking to the Daily Graphic newspaper, but essentially reacting to citizens' reaction to the daily peace walk at Elembele. This is also another tragic story because we know that over the weekend, 6 of their members also died in that accident with many others injured. Exactly. And then, this one also just happened right after that. Yeah, and then Laura NPP chairman attacked, robbed of campaign pickup. If you check the details on our page, it will tell you that the incident attributed to Deputy Minister of Roads, Anthony Kabo's men. That's what they say in the story, that they took his pickup. And there are issues surrounding that. Well, essentially, there are issues in the constituency
there are issues
with the party, the chairman, and the other side.
Yep.
Let me just put it that way. You can go to my John line and read the rest of the story.
Let me quickly do this before we go, though. Stonebwoy has finally got that citation for his Grammy nomination, going all the way back to 2018, and he's actually #1 in the trends this morning. And some people are jabbing the likes of Sarkodie. I don't know why people are like this.
Why do people do that?
People are saying 20 years on, Charlie, the man still, the Grammy no come. But guess what is trending at #10?
What?
Jesus.
Trump? What?
Jesus is trending at #10.
Is it just
people? No, not Jesus.
As in Jesus Christ?
Yes, and people are quoting verses of scripture. And you know how some, organically, some of these things can trend, well, you should check it out. Interesting developments on Twitter today.
Okay, this is where we have to end it. You can get plenty more stories on myjawline.com, and you can also check out what Mr. Trump's been up to. Transition now beginning. Stay with us. We've got sports coming up right after this.